Imagine going to see a doctor about a hip problem and without the doctor examining you or performing any diagnostic test, trying to sell you on a hip replacement. The doctor then explained that you needed to act today before prices went up. And later you find out that the doctor was paid extra and received a free Hawaiian vacation for selling you the hip replacement. While absurd for the medical profession, unfortunately, these practices go on every day in the financial industry.
Are you ready for a successful retirement? We're addressing the topics facing today's retirees. Welcome to Retire with Ryan. Now here's your host, Ryan Morrissey.
Welcome back. This is episode 117. In this week's episode, I'm going to be addressing 10 questions that you should be asking to any prospective financial advisor, or if you're currently working with a financial advisor, it would also be a good idea to ask these questions. The reason I'm addressing this is despite our industry's best efforts to protect investors from scams and bad recommendations, I'm continually reading articles where people are being given very bad investment advice or are being subject to outright theft of their money. And as a consumer, you need to be your own advocate to make sure that you're protecting yourself from these scams. And these questions will help arm you with the information that you need to minimize this risk. But before I get into those questions, just a reminder that if you haven't gone to retirewithryan.com and completed my 2022 listener survey, I would greatly appreciate you doing so. Please go to retirewithryan.com. At the top of the homepage, there's a link to complete the 2022 listener survey. It will take you less than a few minutes, and I would greatly appreciate your feedback. A number of years ago, I put together 10 interview questions when hiring a financial advisor, and I'll put a link to the blog post that I have with my answers to these questions. And I'm going to go through these questions and give my answers to these questions as well. I think it's a good idea that anytime you're hiring a financial advisor to be asking these questions. So the first question is, are you a fiduciary in a fee-only firm? And what is a fiduciary, first of all? And a fiduciary means that as an advisor, you're putting your client's interests ahead of your own at all times. And imagine going to see a doctor about a hip problem and without the doctor examining you or performing any diagnostic test, trying to sell you on a hip replacement. The doctor then explained that you needed to act today before prices went up. And later you find out that the doctor was paid extra and received a free Hawaiian vacation for selling you the hip replacement. While absurd for the medical profession, unfortunately, these practices go on every day in the financial industry, especially with non-fiduciary advisors. Additionally, is the financial advisor that you're considering working with a fee-only advisor or works with a fee-only firm? And what that means is that that firm and that advisor don't accept commissions for any recommendations that they make or for managing their client portfolios. However, there are some fiduciary advisors who do maintain insurance and brokerage licenses that allow them to receive commissions for the recommendations that they make. And though myself at one time maintained these licenses, as I spent more years in the profession, I realized that this creates unhealthy conflicts of interest. So I truly believe that to best serve clients, being a fee-only advisor is the way to go, which means that myself and my firm, we don't maintain any broker-dealer or insurance licenses. So that anytime we're making a recommendation for a client, if it's to buy additional insurances or to transact a certain piece of business, we're not doing it because we're getting a commission. We're doing it because we believe it's in the client's best interest. So to find out if the firm that you're working with has any additional licenses, you can look through a document that's known as their ADV, which is known as the Uniform Application for Investment Advisor Registration. And this is a document that if any firm you're considering hiring, they should be providing you this document prior to you hiring them. If you want to look up the document before you hire them, then again, I'll put a link in the show notes to the blog post that I have on this topic. But in the blog post, if you go to advisorinfo.sec.gov, you can then look up the firm's ADV and you can also look up the advisor's ADV, which is known as Part 2B. Some firms also clearly list their ADV on their website so you can easily download it, as we do on our website. Another website you could check out while doing research on a potential advisor is called BrokerCheck. That website is brokercheck.finra.org. And if someone is registered as a stockbroker, you can find their information on that website. Question number 2 is, do you have any disclosures or complaints? And anytime there's a complaint over a certain dollar amount or there's a settlement, that information gets reported onto someone's record that will either show up on broker check or it will show up at advisorinfo.sec.gov. And it will also be in the ADV as well. So you'll want to know if someone has any disclosures, because it is possible for someone to make a mistake once, but if you see a number of disclosures, that should probably be a red flag for you about this advisor. Question number 3 is, do you have any specific certifications? I'm a big believer in being a fee-only fiduciary advisor, but one only needs to attain a license known as the Series 65 securities license to become a fee-only financial advisor. And it takes most people less than a couple months of studying to pass this exam. And now you're able to advise someone on their life savings. I don't think that's enough knowledge to be out there working with clients. So most advisors seek additional education through different financial designations. These are credentials or letters after one's name and are sometimes referred to as the alphabet soup because there are so many of them. And to help cut through that, most experts would agree that the most comprehensive and thorough is known as the Certified Financial Planning Designation, the CFP. That is a process that I've gone through many years ago, and it takes most people a couple years of studying, and then they have to sit and pass a final exam that's very comprehensive. It's a 10-hour exam that has a 60% pass rate. And then once you pass that, you also have to have experience, 3 years of financial planning experience, to be able to display and use those CFP marks. Of all the financial advisors that are in the US, only about 20% have actually gone through and passed the CFP designation. So that's an additional designation I would look for. To find a CFP professional near you, you can go to cfp.net. In the upper right-hand corner, you can click on Find a CFP Professional. But unfortunately, the CFP website doesn't distinguish between fee-only and commission-based financial planners, so you'll have to do some more research to find a fee-only financial planner. There are other designations that are good as well, such as Chartered Life Underwriter, CLU, Chartered Financial Consultant. There's also something called the CFA, the Chartered Financial Analyst. But really, the CFP is the gold standard, and it also has a fiduciary requirement and a code of ethics that's much more stringent than any others. So if somebody has that designation, they're really committed to the profession and helping clients. Question number 4 is, do you have any specialties and what services do you offer? My specialty is retirement planning, and I help people within 5 years of retirement to plan for and manage their retirement. And we do this through 2 services: comprehensive financial planning, where we help clients go through their full financial plan, where we look at their retirement planning, taxes, insurance, estate planning, and education planning if necessary. And then we also provide ongoing wealth management for those clients that are interested in having us manage their portfolio in conjunction with comprehensive financial planning. So you want to know any prospective advisor what their specialty is. Maybe their specialty is dealing with people going through divorce or dealing with people that are planning for college. These are questions that you want to ask and understand if they're a fit for what you're looking for. Question number 5 is, how are you compensated for your services? For us, we are compensated from our clients in 2 ways. We have clients that look to hire us just for comprehensive financial planning, and they engage to work with us on a flat fee to do that. And that fee is based on each engagement. And then the other way is for clients looking for ongoing management. We're managing their portfolio, and we do that on a percentage basis, a percentage of the assets that they're managing. And that's disclosed on our website or on our ADV. So that's something you'll also want to know, and what the fee schedule is with the prospective advisor that you're looking to work with. And there are fee schedules that range. There are some that are very high, some that are very low. Our fee schedule falls in the middle, but you want to understand what those costs are because you're considering hiring this person. Question number 6 is, what other charges will I potentially occur? And as a fiduciary advisor, part of our obligation for clients is to help keep their investment costs to a minimum, because studies have shown over time that keeping investment costs low has a large impact on your future returns. And for clients that engage with us for ongoing wealth management, we're building portfolios that are invested in funds, mostly funds that are known as exchange-traded funds or ETFs, where we help to keep that internal portfolio cost to a minimum. Our average internal portfolio cost is 0.1%. That's well below industry average. And I find from looking at prospective clients' portfolios that a lot of times clients are paying upwards of 1% of internal costs, and they're also paying additional advisory costs as well. So that cost is really eating away, and a lot of times this is not really improving their returns. Additionally, the custodians that you use who hold your money could be charging you additional account fees or trading fees. We currently use TD Ameritrade, and with many of the big custodians, TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, they have eliminated their trading costs on many US-based ETFs. They're not charging for account fees. So at the current moment, those fees are essentially eliminated. It's possible they could come back in the future, but you'd want to know that. What other costs could you be paying with any custodian that you're using? Question number 7 is, what investment philosophy do you follow? Our investment philosophy is based on the core principle of using low-cost, passive investment strategies. We believe that investment costs have a large impact on our portfolio's long-term growth, and we strive to keep those costs to a minimum. And our investment process begins with completing a retirement readiness report for each client. And after this analysis, we then help clients to determine the appropriate asset allocation, the mix between stocks and bonds that best fits our clients' needs. And we also believe that the markets occasionally present price dislocation, and we seek to take advantage of this by making tactical shifts in the portfolio over time. So you'll want to know, is the prospective advisor you're considering hiring, do they follow an index-based portfolio like we do, or do they believe more in active management, trying to outperform the market? And it's helpful too if they have any performance information that shows how their portfolios have performed in the past. Question number 8 is, where do I keep clients' money and how can they see it? To avoid falling victim to a Ponzi scheme like Bernie Madoff's, I urge all investors to not allow their advisor or their advisory firm to hold their investments directly. Rather, their investments should be held by an independent third party, otherwise known as a custodian. And we follow this practice here. And as I mentioned earlier, our primary custodian is TD Ameritrade Institutional. And we help clients to open any accounts that they need us to manage for them with TD Ameritrade. And they give us limited trading authorization to trade their account and collect our management fee. And to protect our clients, every other transaction requires their authorization. And TD sends statements by mail at least quarterly, and also has a website where clients can check their accounts and view online statements. And we actually also subscribe to a third-party performance software called Orion, and Orion helps us to generate quarterly investment performance reports to share with clients. And they also have a website where clients can log in at any point and check their performance information up to date. But that's important that your advisor is using a third party. Be very, very cautious to make sure they're using a third party. If an advisor ever asks you to write a check directly to them, their own personal name, for an investment, do not do that. It's okay to pay your investment advisory firm for fees, but again, that check should be made payable to the firm. In our case, it would be Morrissey Wealth Management LLC, or whatever the name is of your prospective advisory firm you're considering. And how Bernie Madoff got away with his Ponzi scheme is that he actually was holding his client's money directly in his Madoff Investments, or whatever it was known as, firm account. And that is allowed, but I don't think that's a good practice. Number 9 is, how often will we communicate? Every advisor has some process as far as how often they meet with clients, and you'll want to know that. Currently, our process is that we recommend meeting with our clients in person or via conference call or Zoom twice a year. And we have these meetings in early spring, March, April timeframe, and October, November. We found over the years these times work best to help review client asset allocations, make ongoing updates to their financial plans, and address any tax planning opportunities that present themselves throughout the year. And we're obviously available anytime in between. If clients need us, they know where to reach us, or if there's something that comes up, we reach out to them. So you'll want to know, any prospective advisor, what their communication schedule is, because there's definitely things that happen throughout the course of the year that require communication with clients. And you'll want to make sure that you're hearing from your advisor so that you and them together can stay on top of these changes. And the last question that you should ask is, how long has your longest client been with you, and how many clients do you advise? I've been doing this from 2001, and I'm fortunate to still be working with some clients from my first year working as a financial advisor. At the current moment, I advise a little over 100 families on their finances and still have the capacity to bring on new clients. And that's a question you'll want to ask any prospective advisor. Definitely how long they've been doing that. That's pretty easy to figure out. And how many clients do they serve? If they're serving themselves a few hundred clients, from my experience, that's rather difficult to do, especially if they don't have a team. And that could make it where you're maybe not getting the advice and getting the service that you need. So your homework is to go to my website, take a look at this blog post, print this out if you're considering hiring a financial advisor, and bring these questions with you to ask your prospective financial advisor so that you make sure you get the information that you need, and do some research on them by looking them up on BrokerCheck or going to the SEC website and looking up their history to make sure there's not a history of complaints. And if you haven't gone to retirewithryan.com and completed my 2022 listener survey, I would greatly appreciate you doing so. Have a great week, and I look forward to talking to you next Wednesday. Take care.
You should consult a financial advisor familiar with your specific circumstances before you make any financial decisions. Nothing in this broadcast constitutes a solicitation for the sale or purchase of any securities. Any mention of rates of return are historical or hypothetical in nature and are not a guarantee of future returns. Ryan Morrissey, CFP, is an investment advisor representative of Morrissey Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor.